One story hyped up in the press has been German companies being coerced by the US government because of their business ties in Xinjiang. Volkswagen has thousands of cars stranded at US ports because of a small component that could come from Western China. The chemical giant BASF is facing similar pressure. Both companies might have to leave the region. Who are the bad guys here? The Chinese authorities, who brought stability and growth back to the region? The multinationals, who are simply trying to do business? Or the US government, who enacted a law based on lies and is now invoking it to strong-arm foreign companies in their investment decisions? The so-called Uygur Forced Labor Prevention Act perpetuates a fiction based on claims that have never been substantiated. Volkswagen has debunked such baseless accusations when an independent audit found no sign of forced labor at its Xinjiang site. Even some Western mainstream media outlets reported this. I call the act the Uygur Forced Poverty Act. It ostensibly protects them, but in practice harms them by depriving them of their right to work. Just think of the workers who will be out of a job when the multinationals leave. The law also bans all goods coming from Xinjiang unless importers can prove that there is no forced labor involved. This is to collectively punish the Xinjiang people based on hearsay and to economically disenfranchise the Uyghurs, the Muslim group that the US suddenly cares so much about. You don't hear the love when Palestinians are being killed outright. The US talks about competition with China. If these are the kind of rules that we need to play by, forget about it. China cannot play in a game where the US is the judge, jury, and executioner at the same time. There could be an endless stream of false accusations to kneecap China and scare away businesses, and there will be an endless line of useful idiots, to borrow the words of Western politicians, who are willing to play a supporting role. The genocide lie has run out of steam, and the forced labor canard is dying too. 1.5 years after the US ban took effect, Xinjiang's cross-border trade is booming. Last year, its exports to Central Asia, for instance, rose by 23%, and its overall cross-border trade is set to grow further. I personally witnessed huge wind turbines being transported through customs. The US is alone in trying to isolate Xinjiang. Now, the law may force some companies to leave Xinjiang, but it won't stop them from staying in China. The president and chairman of BASF Greater China, for instance, has just said China is the world's largest chemical market and the company will stay and grow its businesses here. And they're not the only ones. German direct investment in China reached a record high, and I repeat, a record high of 12 billion euros last year. They clearly see where the future is. If the US insists on sitting in the rabbit hole, enjoy it. No amount of laws or spin, however, will fool others in joining them. Meanwhile, the people in Xinjiang, including the Uyghurs, will continue to enjoy their right to work for a better life.